Picture this. You have a father who basically kills off all of his son-in-laws. He's awfully deadly, and he's related to you. Deadly Relations, 1993.
When I got married to my significant other, my father said, Annie, I got something for you. Something that can help you. He told me he got my husband a life insurance policy. I didn't think too much of it. But then when my husband came up dead and my pa gave me $100,000, I knew my father was up to no good. Deadly Relations.
Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My special guest today is Alphia Williams. If you haven't already, please pop on over to her channel and hit subscribe. Also, please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my new content. I post movie reviews once a week on Tuesdays, usually TV movies, occasionally cult classics. Alphia and I have done several collaborations together. Thank you for joining Alphia and me today as we discuss the TV movie Deadly Relations, starring the actress you couldn't get away from in the 90s, Gwyneth Paltrow. In the movie, she plays the daughter of a domineering former Marine named Leonard Fagot, played by the extremely prolific TV actor Robert Urich, who sadly passed away in 2002. The movie is based on a true story and a book by Fagot's daughters, Carol Donahue and Shirley Hall. I have not read the book or read about the true story, so I will be focusing on the movie today. Deadly Relations opens with sad bugle music and a graveyard service for the patriarch of the Fagot family. It's a military send-off for the ex-Marine. What a lovely man he must have been, right? I will remind you that several serial killers have military backgrounds. Lots of men and women in the military are honorable people, worthy of our respect and admiration, but there are some bad apples in the bunch as well, as there are in any profession. So don't be fooled by the pomp and circumstance. Oh no, there's the daughter's voiceover, the dreaded voiceover as I call it. There's a very early 90s TV movie vibe to this opening, which makes sense. It came out in 1993. I believe that qualifies as early 90s. Oh, by the way, I just want to add that apparently, in real life, Leonard Fagot was an attorney in New Orleans, which is funny because the last video I did with Alphia was Ruby from the Landry series, the V.C. Andrews Landry series, and that took place in New Orleans, so unexpected connection there. Gwyneth Paltrow's character is named Carol, and she has a serious case of hero worship as far as her father is concerned, which will turn out to be a bit problematic when we find out just how bad her father actually is. But the sad reality is that the more bat your parents are, the more likely it seems to be that you will end up having an unhealthy attachment to them. Prime example, this movie. My Sweet Audrina is another example. That's a book by V.C. Andrews, and I plan to cover the movie adaptation on my channel in the near future as well, with Alphia, of course, if she is able to join me. Robert Urich would have been well cast in the role of Audrina's father Damien if only the movie had been made in the 90s. Anyway, back to Deadly Relations. Now we're going back in time to when Leonard was still alive and causing problems for his family. Carol announces in the obnoxious voiceover that her father's dream is to one day have a family compound so that all of his daughters and their families can live close by. That's not creepy and cult-like at all. Father Leonard appears to be a bit OCD, and it might stem back to his military background. He goes through his daughter's rooms, checking to make sure they are in tip-top shape with not a speck of dust to dirty the glove on his hand. In an 80s, 90s sitcom, that might be considered an endearing trait of his. In a 90s TV movie aired on Lifetime, not so much. Leonard is critical of his wife and 4 daughters. He doesn't like that his wife smokes. He doesn't like miniskirts. He finds them to be trashy. This is the 60s or 70s, by the way. He doesn't like daughters who marry right out of high school, like his oldest Joanne. He dotes on the daughters who bend over backwards to please him, like Carol, who hangs out to chat with him in his home office, and little Shirley, who looks to be maybe in her early teens, if that. When Joanne displeases him by getting engaged to a young man named George, played by the late Matthew Perry, he makes a late-night stop in Carol's room and bares his soul to her. He also gives her a creepy kiss on the forehead. You, go to your wife and have these discussions with her. Don't involve your underage daughter in your drama with her sister. Leonard does go on to have a lavish wedding for Joanne because he's a man who will go all out. For appearances, of course. Joanne will later say to Carol that she doesn't think their father ever loved them. The wedding is a pleasant affair. Not a cell phone in sight, just a family and their loved ones living in the moment, which means dancing awkwardly to dated music. Soon after, Leonard has a minor heart attack and is rushed to the hospital. The mother emphasizes that it's really not a big deal. It's just a baby heart attack, and he will be back to normal in no time. I'm not sure how much time has passed by now, but suddenly Carol is around 18 years old, and she's pregnant by a man named Bruce. She's terrified her father will have a fit, and probably for good reason. She confesses to him that she and Bruce have had themselves a shotgun wedding. The father comforts her, saying he's glad she did the right thing by marrying her baby daddy. He offers to support her husband Bruce so that he can further his education without having to worry about getting a job right away. This seems like a very generous thing for Daddy to do, right? Daddy is also helping out Joanne's husband George, and Joanne feels this is only encouraging her husband to remain jobless. She sees it as a way for their father to exert control over his daughter's families, and it's not like Leonard appears to be doing this out of the kindness of his heart. He doesn't miss an opportunity to demean George for being an unemployed mooch. We've skipped ahead in time again by this point, and Bruce has already enlisted in the military. Oh look, young Shirley is skipping happily in the woods. That can't be a good sign. She finds Daddy and some making out in a car near a clearing. The father's secret lover is played by Roxana Zal. Leonard introduces his lover to his daughter. See there? Nothing to get excited about. Just Daddy's new friend. Don't go telling Mommy about this because it will ruin the good thing you have going here. Two-parent household, everyone getting along. Let's keep it that way. Shirley runs off and sobs alone in some stable hay. That's got to be a horrible burden for a young girl to bear. Her dad and that Marty lady. While babysitting for her sister's kid one night, Carol opens the door to a man named Mike. He's an ex-boyfriend of Joanne's and a Navy friend of George's. He's played by Tony Higgins, who I remember as Sean from Sleepaway Camp 2. Mike flirts with Carol. Carol and Mike. This movie couldn't be further from the Brady Bunch, though, even though the sets look kind of similar. 3 of the sisters are later talking about Dad's side piece, Marty, and how they don't like her. Their mother also suspects she's not just around to take care of the yard work. Leonard has given Marty her own charge card. Carol's mother vents to her in frustration. Her husband has been having affairs for years, but she can't get a divorce because Leonard doesn't believe in divorce, and he would ruin her if she ever tried to get one. I'm not sure how much time has gone by at this point, but Leonard is suddenly awfully chipper, offering to buy George a boat. It will be a boat for the extended family, but it will be in George's name. George thinks this sounds super duper, and sure, he will sign for some extra insurance coverage Leonard took out on him. That sounds perfectly legit and reasonable. He doesn't see the villainous face Leonard makes as soon as George leaves the room. Carol meets Mike at a motel, and they begin an affair. It's tough being a military wife, and Mike is kind of cute. George goes off to be alone with his father-in-law. I have a bad feeling he won't be back. And it looks like I'm right. Mrs. Fagot is looking for her son-in-law as she prepares dinner. Her husband tells her to check behind the stables, so daughter Shirley runs off to do just that, and the mother starts to get a weird feeling, so she chases after her daughter, and they both stumble upon George's dead body, right in the place where apparently Daddy said it would be. How did Daddy know where to find him? Now it's Mother's birthday, and they're having a Hawaiian pig roast. Sounds like a lot of fun, for everyone but the pig. Carol's son has aged a few years by this point, but for some reason her mother is only just now getting around to telling husband Leonard that she's up to his tricks. She knows he took out an insurance policy on George 9 months before he conveniently went and died. We learn that George's life was worth $200,000 to his father-in-law. His wife demands a divorce, but Leonard doesn't want a divorce lawyer getting all up in his business, and I can't blame him. He says he'll give her a separation, but that's all. And just remember, he has an insurance policy out on her as well. Joanne confronts her dad while he's having a poker night with his friends. What's up? Oh, not much. Just wanted to let you know that I know you're a murderer. That's what you are, Daddy, a no-good murderer, and she's severing ties. She storms off, and the poker game goes on as normal. His daughter's just mad with grief over the loss of her husband, that's all. Hasn't it been a few years since he died by this point, though? I'm not buying this excuse. Now Leonard and his son-in-law Bruce are going hunting with Marty. That can't end well. He tells Bruce to go off alone while he stays behind with Marty. Next thing you know, Bruce is crying at the hospital because Leonard has blown his own hand off with a gun and is ranting and raving about the insurance money. Who cares that he no longer has a hand? He wants the money. Bruce thinks this sounds a little bit strange. Carol eventually tells Bruce that she's in love with Mike and that Mike is actually the father of their daughter Kimberly. Bruce rages that she's not getting a divorce. They're going to stay together and work this out. He reminds me a little bit of her father, but Carol seems to think Mike is the one that's like her father. Not sure why that's a good thing. Meanwhile, Marty is jealous of her lover's wife, and she attacks Carol's mother with a rock. Leonard tells his wife he can't leave Marty because she knows too much. I'm surprised he doesn't just kill her then. Not that I think he should. I'm not encouraging that. Even though I don't care much for this Marty chick who nearly killed Carol's mother with a rock and is not exactly an angel herself. Carol is now married to Mike. She feels bad because her handless father is in pain and needs money because his insurance isn't helping him out. She asks Mike to lend her father some money, but he's like, no. Turns out Mike is buying weed in Mexico, not jewelry like he said he was. Leonard wants in on his son-in-law's drug business, but he unfortunately found out about it just as Mike was looking for a way out. Mike agrees to go on one final trip with Daddy Leonard, and the two men get ripped off. Leonard is furious and wants his money back, or else. Carol tries to reason with her husband, but Mike turns on her and becomes abusive. She's willing to put up with her dad's crap, but this outburst from Mike makes her realize she can't be with him anymore. She needs to have the courage her mother didn't have. She gets a job as a receptionist at a doctor's office. She refuses to take Mike back when he comes begging, but she still apparently cares enough about him to warn him against going for rides in cars with her father. That's a very astute observation, Carol. Too bad Mike doesn't agree. He goes for a ride with Daddy Leonard, and this somehow leads to him getting shot. Leonard claims it was in self-defense. Only not to daughter Carol. He confesses to Carol that he planned it all out, and she's going to be a good girl and go along with the story. She decides to testify against him instead. And the movie ends with Leonard's funeral, because as we all know of Lifetime and TV movies, they love to start at the end of the movie and then go back in time and then finish where they started. I give this movie 5 out of 5 stars. Urich does a great job in the role of the evil patriarch. I would have loved to have seen him play Damien in My Sweet Audrina, but it was not to be. Gwyneth Paltrow was alright. I'm not a huge fan. Urich stole the show in my opinion. The movie felt rushed at times. Carol morphs quickly from a doting daughter to a woman willing to testify against her own father, and to be fair, her father was totally asking for it, but I did get the sense that the movie lacked nuance, which is not surprising for a 90s TV movie. Anyway, what are your thoughts, Alphia?
Thank you, Jennifer, so much for your recap. Your recap was amazing. Now, let's get into Deadly Relations. This movie came out in 1993. And it's a thriller crime. Now, this is a Lifetime movie. Now, when I started watching the movie, I was like, oh, hold on. I was like, oh my God. I watched this as a child with my mother and my sister. Now, there is so much to unpack, so much tea, and it's hot and it's piping, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. 90 movies for a Lifetime in the early 2000s, and some of the 80 movies hit like really, really different. So let's get into it. And shout out to Gwyneth Paltrow. She played Carol, and I don't want to say the last name wrong, so Fagot, because I'm always pretty bad at pronouncing people's names. So let's get into this movie. The movie opens up with Gwyneth Paltrow playing as Carol and her sisters, her 4 other sisters. And I want to give a special shout out to Matthew Perry. He is no longer with us, but I remember when somebody was talking about in my Lifetime group about him playing in a movie, and I was like, okay, I remember the movie. And I remember I said it, and then I remember when Jennifer was telling me, we should do a collaboration with Deadly Relations, and I was like, okay. I was like, I don't think I ever seen the movie, but then when it started playing, I was like, oh my God, I've seen this movie, because I remember Matthew Perry, and I was like, oh my God, this is him, this is a movie where his father-in-law offed him. Now, can you imagine somebody just having multiple life insurance on you because they want to make sure that they can cash in on your money. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's kind of crazy. Like, if I married somebody and they say, oh well, my father, which is your father-in-law, has a life insurance policy on you, I'd be like, you know what, let me go ahead and see if I can get this marriage annulled and get myself some witness protection program, because what the hell. But let's get into it. Leonard, sir, there is so much to unpack with you. What the hell was you in? Oh my god. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, I think he should have got stripped of his duties of being in the Navy or Air Force or whatever he was in, whatever military branch, because you off somebody. I don't care even if he did get acquitted or whatever. You still get stripped because, sir, you off two people, not one but two son-in-laws, George and your daughter Carol's husband, her second husband. Now let's talk about Carol. Carol was married to a good guy because she got pregnant or whatever. Carol was I would say, like, the favorite child. Carol really couldn't do no wrong. Her dad wanted her to go to school, finish school. She started school. She fell in love with the guy. Then she got pregnant and she came home. She told her mom, and of course her mom told her, you better marry him, whatever, before you bring it to your dad. She got married to him. And then I'm going to say the daddy was always giving. He was always buying his 4 daughters beautiful things. Now, I will say this, he did go around checking their home, and he had the glove, and I'm like, oh my god, that's like way too much. And he was very strict, and because he first got mad when the first sister got married, when she married George, which was played by Matthew Perry, and she was mad that he got married. He was mad that she got married to him, and basically called him bum because they had to get together. And he was like, he don't have no job, whatever. I'm just like, oh my god, you're one of those strict dads or whatever. You're really strict, and you want to control your children's life. It's just like, I'm gonna go ahead and say, I don't think Leonard wanted his children to grow up. I hope I'm saying his name right, Leonard. I'm looking at the thing so I can make sure, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This movie, like I tell you, the Lifetime movies just hit from the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. Even now they have some hits I miss. But I'm gonna say this, Leonard was just crazy, and I think this was based on a true story. After watching it for the second or third time, it's been a minute, but I watched it when I was younger, so yeah. But he got mad because Carol's second husband, he was dealing drugs to the Mexican border, and then, she told him, hey, don't go meet with my dad. She told him, hey, like, really don't go meet with my dad because my dad is gonna off you. And he was like, no, I got this or whatever. He's trying to pay me back. And what did he do? He ended up offing him. And then she went to police, and then one of the sisters told him, what does the Bible say? Or basically she was saying, about honoring your father and mother. Girl, shut up. This man done killed, he done offed 2 of his son-in-laws, and you gonna say honor your father and mother, basically we're going against dad. Girl, this man done, girl, hush. I would have told her, girl, you sit this one out. Just sit this one out. Even when the mom asked for a divorce because she knew about him messing with Marty. And Marty, because, okay, one of the younger sisters had caught him messing with Marty. And she didn't tell. The dad had like a birthday party or whatever, or some kind of event or party that Marty came to, and he was saying she was doing yard work. That's what he told the daughter, and the mom was like, I've been knew about her. She said he had charge cards, had an apartment for her. And I'm going to say, when his wife finally left him because she was tired, because she's like, I know you killed George. She said, I found the insurance policy. She went in his office, she found his insurance policy. But okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I actually knew somebody that had a house that looked similar to their house when I lived in Florida. And it was actually really, really nice. But, because that's how I remember the movie from. Cause, oh my god, like, wow, they really had a house like that. But, back to what I was saying. The mom found out that her husband had multiple insurance policies. He had an insurance policy on George. And then when Carol got married to her second husband, the dad was like, everybody treating me like an outsider, but he said, I got you something. I got you a life insurance policy. She's like, for me? He was like, no, for your husband. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Even when the oldest sister, found out the dad had killed her husband, and she said, I can't prove it because the mom told her. Carol was like, no, Dad wouldn't do that. Don't come fussing. She was always taking up for the dad. Because even when the dad had a heart attack, she was there. When the dad took a pew pew and pew pew his hand off, she came to the hospital. She was there for Carol. Was that ride or die? I was expecting Carol to off him. I'm not even gonna sit here in front, but because since I hadn't watched the movie in a while, I was like, did she off him or nothing? And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I wondered, did Leonard even set up? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Marty was crazy because Marty even showed up his ex-wife's house. His wife at the time, she was still his wife. He wasn't his ex-wife yet. She showed up at his house and she started like, he's mine. Give him that divorce. And she started hitting her with a brick. And I'm like, girl, what the heck? Marty was just crazy as he was. Two crazy people don't need to be together. I'm like, oh my God, what the heck? Oh, Marty was crazy. And she got in trouble too. But then since he got offed, I'm gonna go ahead and say he may become a replacement. So I'm gonna off myself and you put me in the trunk and drive me over here. And yeah, cause she's just crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and say, if this is a true story, I hope they change the names, because if her name's Marty and I see a Marty, I'm just gonna stay the other way. That's all I'm gonna say. So would I recommend this movie? Definitely, and it's on YouTube. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have watched it. I have already watched it before, but I hadn't watched it in so long I couldn't even remember what happened. But Deadly Relations is a must see, and you must watch it. And I hope you guys enjoyed our review, and thank you so much again, Jennifer, for letting me come onto your channel and discuss this with you. You guys have a wonderful night and a wonderful day. All right, cool.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Alphia. Always a pleasure to have you on my channel. Once again, please like the video, comment below, and subscribe to our channels. Until next time. Thank you.